We're streaming live on YouTube.
Hi, everybody.
If you want to go for just hitting the live on the
Yeah, got you.
for the Facebook, I'm gonna check YouTube as we speak. But we're live on YouTube. Great, which has been kind of cool lately.
Have you been getting along?
Yeah,
Too?
Scotchy Bourbon Boys Angel share right there.
Live
Yeah.
On.
There we go. You could hear us. You're waving.
You want-
Yeah, there we
It's
go.
not annoying at all.
What?
Not annoying at all.
No, it's not. Okay, and then we went live on Facebook, everybody. Let's see. Now on Facebook, we know what we got to do right here.
Yeah.
We
You
have
spend
to
your half hour
share,
and
and then
no.
the kid's going to entertain you tonight.
Am I? What am I doing? Oh, God.
Just entertain
You guys
us.
want to hear a joke? God,
Hey,
now I have to think of a
Do you
joke.
have...
This is
No,
too
I want to
much.
hear a whiskey story. You got any whiskey
God.
stories that...
Like me being completely trashed and doing crazy crap.
Let's see. All right, Jeff.
I'm trying to think of a good one because there's been just so much.
So we did go live, right?
Yeah, we should be live.
There we are. We're live. We got a couple people already, so which is really kind of... How do we have a comment already?
Got a couple people recently I was really drunk and I tried to throw my shoes in the fire. Actually, at your house, it was it was during a bonfire, and people got mad at me and wouldn't let me, and then hid my shoes, and I got very upset at them. If they're my shoes, I should be able to burn them if I want.
Well, it all depends on how much whiskey you drink, because
Listen, I
a
was
couple times it's
completely-
been my ass, but it's like if you drink too much whiskey, all of a sudden it's somebody
I was
else's.
completely in control of my faculties. They
Okay.
just underestimated me.
They were just
Sure, I had probably 11 drinks or so, but I don't know. I don't even know how much a drink is half the time. A drink to me is like just a glass.
Well, all I could
Really
tell you
fast.
is it's a evolving what would you say? A drink is an evolving thing, okay? So when I'm podcasting, let's just say, and we're tasting and it's a weeknight, what the drink is little pours in a Glencairn,
Right, of
okay?
course.
Now, a normal drink, what you're dealing with, what would you say? Okay, it's posting. A normal drink is what you get at a bar, right?
Right. Then a weekend drink is half a bottle.
Or a Packer play-in game drink was a whole different story what that was. And that just, whatever the drink is, to you leads into what the next morning's going to be.
True.
Right?
True.
I mean, that's all I can say is that when a drink's the whole rocks glass and that's one drink, it's usually going to be, wouldn't you say, a bad morning.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Just drink water, folks. That's all you gotta do.
no, drink whiskey, but drink it responsibly.
Yeah, but just drink water afterwards.
Oh.
See, my issue is when I try to drink water afterwards, like, I want to go to bed, but I have to keep getting up to pee, and it's just really annoying. So sometimes I just take the hangover.
Oh, God.
Screw it.
I don't know. Sometimes I take the hangover because I don't get a chance to drink
Pass out on the couch.
or I don't even know. Sometimes it's like, how do you even know?
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on or what, I mean, honestly, that was something on Sunday. It's been a long time since I had a hangover at work. I usually don't drink enough to have a hangover, but let alone on a Sunday night. But for whatever reason,
It's technically the weekend.
the game kind of was good, and then it started to get bad. And when it was getting bad, it was stressful, and I was already like, what would you say, stress drinking on that one? That one was a rough one. It's like,
Relax.
I think
Also, you need to hire somebody to fucking share all these for you.
I understand.
It takes like 10 minutes for you, dude.
Well, I keep getting in more groups, like Brown Water Bounty. That's a new one.
There's got to be a way to do it, like, in mass.
Well, you could pay for it, but we're not quite yet to that. I like keeping the money right now, and Now what I could tell you, one thing that Bourbon Pursuit does is there's some, picture of an artwork playing. What would you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got something while he's doing this, you're getting entertained, but we're kind of entertaining with our stories, right?
I like to think so.
I think that's kind of cool in itself.
All I say, podcasts aren't about whatever the hell you're talking about. It's about the personalities. That's what makes people keep coming back.
And also how much you drink on the podcast, because your personality, the more someone else drinks with you, the less your personality means, right?
yeah, right. My personality on this show is just drinking and whatever comes after that.
Yeah, wow. My thumb's getting tired here.
Yeah, I'm like, do you need a break?
I know, and we're just, I'm gonna, it's funny because I'm now streamlined in a bunch of groups that don't they don't kick me out, put it that way. Whereas before you'd have to like watch what you were doing. Now it's just every time you see something, there we go, we're shared to all the groups. Christ. There we go. So we're gonna get right. Okay, so tonight, folks, there we go. We're here we go. We're up. We're analyzing the groups for content. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. So we got that all going. There's going to be some really cool things we're going to do tonight. So
I'll be the judge.
Unlike normal, I'm, a lot of times I'm organized, but I wing it.
Which I love.
But tonight I'm organized. We can wing some shit, but I'm totally organized. There's no doubt. Oh yeah, that's one of the other things I like to do. We'll just try.
You have another 50 groups.
No. I'll hit it and I'll go share to send in Messenger. Let's just send it off to a couple fun people in Messenger so they know that.
Send it to Seth.
Yeah, I like to send it to every once in a while. That's my granddaughter coming home.
Gotcha.
I like to send it off to some of the people, that watch us or like join in. It's kind of fun to do that.
I'd send it to all my enemies, people who've wronged me over the years. What are you doing with your life?
I would like to, there's one person. Where is he? I send some people don't actually, it's good to send it off just to a couple people to see. Kate, okay, Bo, Tim. Yeah, all right. Enough bothering. Oh, Chris Thompson's a good one to send it off to because that's CT. Oh. And here, Martin Nash. That's the one I was looking. All right, so we're done.
Nash, let's go.
Oh, we'll send it off to her too. Okay, so now we really covered all the basics. So let me get up.
Like everybody.
Now I got to go to YouTube.
I'm glad you all were here for this, guys. So now I got to go to YouTube.
Well, no. I'm not doing that. I got to actually. I got to go to the home page and get ready to play the opening. So okay. That's what I had to have it ready. We're all ready, folks. Welcome to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. This podcast. Ooh.
That could have been bad.
Yeah, it's always bad when I do dumb stuff. Yeah. Yep, it's.
Something just happened.
Okay.
Is there sound still?
Nope, it's stuck.
Our sound is still on.
Yeah, our sound is still on.
Cool.
You're on.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm on. All right. Yeah. We're trying. That's what we do here. We fuck up the whole thing. So, but tonight's really exciting. We're gonna talk about the Angel Share. There was I had planned to do this, and then today Alan Bishop went out and talked about the Angel's Share, and in about a minute, he said everything you possibly could say. Yeah, right. That would probably take me about 5 minutes, and you wouldn't have any idea that I said it. So after you watch this podcast, go to Alan Bishop's Facebook page and check out his Angel Share reel that he did, which was kind of excellent.
It was a lot, but it was informative.
It gives you a lot of what we're going to talk about. Then we're also going to be talking about Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year. And then we also have Whiskey Thief Distillery. we've got Hunter Coffee, their master distiller, Walter Zausch,
Wait.
the owner. Yes, what?
Yeah, my nickname instead of the kid be Whiskey Thief. I love that.
Yeah, and then you could just run around with the with
the bottle. Like,
the Whiskey Thief. This is actually what a Whiskey Thief is.
Oh, I thought I was just stealing whiskey.
No, this is what you steal the whiskey. This is actually called a copper whiskey thief. This is used to steal the whiskey from the barrel.
Oh, this is amazing.
So this could be
just wear that on my head.
If you were the whiskey thief, this would be your power right here. You'd be running around.
My ultimate weapon.
So if you get really drunk, you just hit people in the balls. But anyways,
what happened to you? Oh, the Whiskey Thief got me.
Yeah.
I told you. Man. Don't guard your whiskey when he's around.
And so, the Whiskey Thief Distillery will go into what that is. Hannah Melillo, she basically, we've met her. She's been making the Scotchy Bourbon Boys famous with she's been thieving barrels at the Whiskey Thief Distillery on the Three Boys farm, and getting us millions of views and awareness. So we've done a lot for Whiskey Thief Distillery. Well, we did a podcast just back right around in September. When we went there, we podcasted with Walter and Hunter, and talked about that at the time the name of their distillery was Three Boys Distillery, and they were announcing on our podcast that they changed the name to Whiskey Thief Distillery. So we got our little Whiskey Thief glasses, and then also our Scotchy Bourbon Boy glasses. We'll be covering that. And then the thing about Whiskey Thief Distillery, this is just a pregame and we're about getting ready to get going, folks, but the thing about Whiskey Thief Distillery is 100% you are barrel picking from 5 or 6 barrels of either one rye whiskey and 5 bourbons, or 5 bourbons, and they have all the mash bills, and you get to taste them all. But if you like one, you walk away you fill your own bottle with the Whiskey Thief. So you actually use the thief.
Then walk out without paying.
No, they charge you. You gotta pay them and support them. But it's barrel strength. So tonight, when we're gonna barrel bash this particular bottle of Whiskey Thief bourbon. We also have another one we're going to taste through initially that we picked up while we were there, and then this one is the one I actually filled with a thief. This one here is a kind of a special bottle signed by Hunter. This one too, but it's also signed by Walter, so this one I'm kind of keeping for maybe a special occasion or whatnot. But I've got this, and then we're going to talk about barrel strength bourbon and what you can do with it and why it was initially, where did barrel strength and cask strength bourbons and whiskeys come from, and why did it come? What was the purpose of all of a sudden going through so many years of 80 proof and 90 proof and that really, or some bottled and bonded 100 proof, and all of a sudden we're drinking 116, 120, 127. So we're going to cover that tonight also. So
we got a full schedule.
Yes, we do, and we're going to fly through this fucker like a hot butter, a hot knife through butter, right? There you go.
Yeah, close enough.
Is that what you do?
Wait, hot knife through butter. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I am going to start the main podcast. What you're going to do is you're going to hear, we're going to be quiet for 30 seconds, and then we, for a Spirit of French Lick promo, for you though, on YouTube and Facebook. The Spirit of French Lick is in French Lick, Indiana, West Baden, and it is the Spirits of French Lick distillery there. Alan Bishop is their main distiller and alchemist down there, and he does some fantastic whiskeys, bourbons. I mean, he uses grains that nobody even thinks of. He really loves distilling. He has what would you say, a moonshining base that he came from initially, and then he's gone into working in the industry, and they're down at the Spirit of French Lick. They're doing some amazing things. One thing I want to throw out there is that our barrel pick is almost ready, so it's pretty exciting. If you're interested in that at all, contact me on the Facebook Messenger. We'll get you all the information about all the barrel picks for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. All right, here we go. We're going to get going. Here we go.
Not keto.
Oh, did it really do? YouTube giving me ads. Not making any money off that.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising some hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun.
All right, welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I am Tiny, and we have the kid coming back for another podcast. This is 2023. How's your 2023 been going so far?
I haven't drank enough yet, so that's something.
That's
Throughout the first day, I was kind of out of commission because of New Year's, so that was not pleasant to deal with. Really hope that's not signs of things to come. I already messed up 2023, but 2024, I got that one.
It's just like my 2023 started off. It's been a weird start to it. Welcome to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast, everybody. We are also monitoring live on Facebook. Alan Bishop is here along with Ricky Edwards. Thanks for checking in, Alan. That's great. We're going to basically, it was awesome. We are going to be covering the Angel's Share. Now, it was super, what would you say, convenient, because that was on the docket for my podcast coming up. And then we talked about Alan just before, how he put out a reel. So if you go to Alan Bishop's Facebook page or his YouTube channel and check out his reel of what the Angel Share is, because he can say this. He said this so fast and so well. It helped. I think it's going to help with this podcast, but we're talking about the Angel Share. Now, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.scotchybourbonboys. Check it out for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Hit the Patreon in the top right-hand corner. Check us out on Patreon. Things are going to be happening there also, but also remember we're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Check us out on all those formats. Then you also, every single podcast format that you could think of, we're there. Just make sure that you like, listen, subscribe, and leave some good feedback for us. So we got that out of the way.
Yeah, we don't want constructive criticism.
Whoa, I'm just glad to have you back in. So
2/3 of the cockflock. It's really a tragedy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to the other third. When you're talking about Jin, he has been under the weather a little bit, and he didn't want to risk it. He said he'd come on and he'd smell some whiskey, And I said, fuck no to that. So he's in the other room. And
You were like, no, please.
no, please, come on. Well, come on. You got to let me be tough here, right?
Fuck that. I'm here to call you out. Put you in your place.
That's exactly it. So anyways, so Jin's sitting this one out today. And but we got myself and the kid. So we're ready to go. This one's power action packed, I think. Everything seems to be recording. We're streaming. We're on YouTube. We're on, we're on Facebook, and we're ready to go. So, what I want.
Wait, I didn't say I was ready to go.
Okay, you ready to go?
Give me like 3 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good now.
All right, that's good. So we haven't had a pour, and although we're going to taste this later, I think do you want to pour?
Yes,
I'm
please.
sure. It's just like I'm thirsty.
My hands are shaking.
So tonight we do have, I even got you water.
Wow.
So this is for hydrating purposes a little bit. This is, tonight we're going to be covering the Whiskey Thief Distillery. Hunter Coffee is the master distiller there, along with Walter Zausch. He is the owner, and we were down there for a podcast earlier this year, and picked up some stuff. But we just want to cover. We're kind of going to do a whiskey distillery series. We're going to go through different distilleries, each maybe one or two a month, really kind of get in depth with what the distilleries are and what they produce. Definitely our sponsors, the Spirit of French Lick. Hopefully maybe the one that we do that with will have our barrel pick involved, and then also Alan Bishop on. We are going to be going down to the Spirit of French Lick also sometime in January or early February to be able to do the release party of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, William Dalton Wheated Bourbon. And we are excited for that. We can't wait to do that because that should be a lot of fun. A lot of people can come get it from there, but it's going to be a party, and hopefully we do.
It's always a party when we're around.
Hopefully we do a podcast, and maybe I can drag the kid along, drag Jin along. We can all go down there, have a good time, see what the Spirit of French Lick is all about. But that brings us back to we're sipping a little bit on Whiskey Thief, and we're going to talk about the Angel Share. So if you're not familiar with what the Angel Share is, the Angel Share is about what you lose in the maturation process. But why do you lose it, right? Now, when we're listening, there's a lot of different things. There's different climates that affect. You can have all different types of warehouses. You can have heated warehouses. You can have air-conditioned warehouses. You can temperature-controlled warehouses, humidity-controlled rickhouses, warehouses for aging your whiskey, or you can just let Mother Nature do it. But Mother Nature in Kentucky and Mother Nature in Ohio, Mother Nature in Wisconsin, and Mother Nature in Colorado is a lot different. Now, one of the things also that you have is Colorado has altitude. You're talking about Denver's a mile high. Different altitudes also affect how the Angel Share affects the whiskey. Now, as Alan was saying in I like to give him credit because he really said it so well, that you evaporate two things while you're aging. Now, he said the barrel is a great ingredient, but a horrible storage device because, one, it absorbs the whiskey into the wood. It becomes part of the ingredients. Now, when it's absorbing into the wood...
Concept. Edible barrels.
Right.
I'm just saying, I think it would be good to patent that right
but
now.
you're putting it, or drinkable. I mean,
barrels.
you're just pulling those ingredients out and adding it in. Now, what you put in as White Dog, as Alan went over, is what comes out is an alchemist's dream, right? It's alchemy. It changes the actual composition of what you put in. It gets filtered through the charcoal, which the ethanols, that could be in the barrel left over from distilling. Now, when you column distill, there could be a lot more ethanols left in, but pot distilling usually allows you to control and get those ethanols, and as he said, the low boiling point alcohol that's not good for you. That the charcoal will take it out of there.
With methanol and crap.
Right. So acetone, there's all these different the heads of a run. And the one thing about column distilling, when you think about it, it's continuous. So once you get that column running, you don't have heads anymore, and you don't have tails because it never ends. So if it's running constantly and continually, you're just dealing with the heart of the run all the time. But with column distilling and everything where you're talking, some of those gases, based off of how it works, can get into the distillate. So a lot of times with column distilling and mass distilling, the barrel really is being used not just as a flavor additive, but also to take those bad chemicals out.
One of what I love about the Angel Share, I think it like really encapsulates what the beauty is about bourbon, of how literally it's almost impossible to make the same barrel. You know what I mean? There's so many working parts in it that can affect the flavor in so many ways.
Yep.
And like, I think that's amazing. That like every actual barrel that you taste is probably a unique taste.
Well, it is, because you can't make every stave the same.
Yeah.
They have two barrels aged same distillate, same day distilled, same filled, same liquid into the barrel. They sit next to each other in the rickhouse for 6 years, and they come out and they're totally different tasting. There's different notes, okay? So that's the great thing about whiskey. So going forward, all the way up until just recently, one of the key things of all the whiskey distillers, the mass distillers, the regular distillers, was consistency. For you to make your whiskey taste the same consistently was a very difficult, challenging task, especially when you talk about, you're aging something 6 years, 7 years, and then releasing it. In those 6-7 years, every 6-7 years, the summers are all different. The weather isn't the same. You can't control that. Now, some people control that environment. One of the places famous for that is Buffalo Trace has temperature controlled warehouses, but you can now. I know Alan down at the Spirit of French Lake, he does have control of his aging rickhouse where he's aging the barrels, and the reason why is he's pot distilling, and he uses the whiskey. He uses the barrel for flavor, but he's not using it for filtering. So he doesn't have to filter out as much. So so when the whiskey's ready, so you could do some stuff, on a large distillery, and you're at 4 or 5 years, and if you've not done it properly, you gotta let it go a little longer to get that stuff out. So you might think the barrel's ready, but you got to go a little bit longer. There's so much involved. But let's get back to the Angel Share. So you either lose ethanol or water depending on humidity, altitude, and heat and cold. So it depends on what you're losing. But if you're losing water, you're making more. Your whiskey in there becomes more concentrated, higher proofed. If you're losing ethanol, you're actually losing the alcohol, and sometimes it can come out as a lower proof. It just depends. And one of the cool things about the Angel Share and distillery, knowing you get the craft distillers when they first start up. When they first start up, they're putting barrels in places that they don't really know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So
how can you know what's going to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
But let's just say a place like Buffalo Trace, Jim Beam, when you're talking about some of the rick houses are from the 1800s, the 1900s, they've documented and had people before them understand where the best places are in those rick houses. And so when you get into the 8th, 9th distilling generation, and they know their rick houses, and they pass on that information, and then they build more, and then that information, then they start to they keep running. That is why they can make a good quality whiskey consistently.
It's been a process for like decades, basically, to find the best ways to distill it.
Right, and the craft distillers, they really have
if
to.
I have another pour of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
The craft distillers, they are, when they first start out, they're kind of at the mercy of what they're doing. Now, if you're a good distiller and understand what you're doing, not so much, and you kind of have a goal. But at the same time, once that 4 years happens and you've reached your goal and you start to understand, the more time that passes, the better you're going to get at understanding what your environment of where you're distilling and what's going on happens. So the angel share has a lot to do with your taste of the whiskey, and then what and how much is left. I mean, if you have the angel share is going to be so much more in a 7-story rick house in Kentucky at the top. That's not, those summers just suck out. They suck the water out, and it's, you know what, and they get that, and it tends to, they higher proofs, lots of caramels, you know, the flavor, but going in and out. So, and then the lower areas, the cooler, it goes a little bit slower, and then they can mix and match while they're doing that. So that's really kind of a cool thing. But the angel share, you hear it from, like, for 1 year last year, they didn't release any Pappy Van Winkle. The 23-year, no 20. Well, that's partially because some of the stock, they didn't feel ready, but it's also partially because those barrels weren't yielding as much liquid when you poured them out, and a lot of the angel share has been taken. And if there's anything that you haven't noticed lately, is that the summers are hot, seem to be hotter, and the winters have some cold, but they seem overall to be just, if you go here, we've had that one burst of cold, but overall we've been sitting in the 40s, the 50s in January, even in the 60s for a couple days, and that's something that doesn't always happen in, you know, it's that, so that you're getting way more positive whiskey aging weather as we go forward. So I contend lately that even some of the lower stuff, like Buffalo Trace and their regular small batches, or their regular Buffalo Trace distillate, is getting better, caramelier, because the barrels overall are just yielding based off of the weather, seems to be fantastic for you know, distilling whiskey and making or maturing whiskey. So the angel share has a lot to do with it. For instance, when we did our Knob Creek pick, our barrel was barreled. We picked one that didn't need to have water, but it only yielded 138 bottles. That means that barrel gave up a lot. You could get up to 200, 210 normally, but those 70 bottles were gone. So that's really kind of a unique experience where the angel share, but they call it the angel share because it does evaporate, and they say that's what they're sharing with the angels so that they can make better whiskey. So I don't know what...
we don't have to pour one out. They're already getting their share.
But, you know, from a chemical compound, you know, chemical aspect, once again, what you put in that barrel... it does not come out the same. Not only is it filtered, it's then evaporated and oxidized. Air comes in and out. The more that there's less liquid, the more air there is, and the oxidation kicks in. So it's really kind of a cool thing. Then I want to quick do a shout out to Christy Maddie, her open bees raffle that happened on the 3rd of January went off really well. I thank everybody who supported that, and I can't wait. If you get your if you were somebody who won a bottle, and once you get it, let us know. It was a good, that was for a good cause, a good charity, and thanks, Christy. So anyways, got any? I mean, what do you think about the Angels? I mean, do you have an opinion, or did we cover it, or did you want?
I mean, like, I keep returning to the fact of, I just think it encapsulates like how much things can go into this, how it affects literally everything. There is no science. Okay, there's a science to it, but there's no consistency. To try to replicate that takes any one of these takes so much work, and how that even this obscure thing, evaporation, how that can affect the taste. is mind-blowing almost, and it's charming in a lot of ways.
I mean, there are places, for instance, the Buffalo Trace analyzes the whiskey at a molecular level and are building rick houses.
That's my point, though. Molecular level to have to replicate this. Like, that's so fucking insane.
Yeah, for sure. But they analyze it. And then what they're trying to do they built another still, and then they're building more rick houses, but they're trying to then heat and control humidity in the rick houses so they can make specific brands exactly the same as before. And they think they could do it based off of the molecular analysis. They know what they're shooting for, and so far they've been able to get it. So once they get that still up and running, hopefully, because cheers, everybody wants more Pappy, everybody wants more Blantons, everybody wants more Buffalo Trace, and so if they're able to do it,
so it
that's
only
a good
takes
thing.
A full lab to be able to replicate a whiskey.
Right, and then we don't even, when you throw in the yeast strains, there's another whole thing. You're talking about a living organism basically eating sugar and crapping it out, but that living organism, it has the same kind of things. It's more productive at different times. And even, what we try and understand, I'm sure we don't understand fully. I mean, we understand how yeast works and but I'm sure they have better, they talk about temperature, but, it's almost like there's probably some sort of mood that's involved with the yeast. Some days if they're having a bad day, who knows? Anyways, they're living, so and when you're dealing with a living organism, it's going to change. So... All right. So I wanted to talk about the top 20 whiskeys revealed from Whiskey Advocate. It's very interesting.
It's like a Vogue magazine, but whiskey. I love it.
The top 20, the whiskey of the year was Jack Daniel's Bonded.
And we do not have that, to clarify.
I did taste Jack Daniel's Bonded. I did like it, but I actually liked their triple mash better. There's a lot of people that weren't on board for Jack Daniel's Bonded as the whiskey of the year. I'm not saying opinion one, it was a good whiskey. So then we had...
Those guys at number one are full of shit.
2 was Redbreast, the Oak Edition, the Kentucky Oak Edition. And then 3 was the Barrel Vantage Blend of straight... Mizunara French and toasted American oak finished. And one, I got to taste that the other day, and it's pretty damn good. 4 was the Dewar's 12-year. 5 was Westward American Single Malt. Then there was Middleton Very Rare, which is a blended Irish. And then 7 is Blue Note. It was the Juke Joint Uncut. Now, I worked my butt off and ended up with 2 bottles of that, and I agree that's right up there. 8 was single barrel Scotch. I'm not even going to try and say Lamavity. Then there's Bruichladdich, 8-year-old Islay Barley 2013.
Let's just rename them ourselves. That's Buscemi now.
Well, I like Bruichladdich. I don't even know how you get Bruichladdich out of that, but that's... Yeah, but it's Bruichladdich.
That's insane.
Yep. And then Nelson Brothers Reserve, which I have not tried yet, but I'm going to, number 10. Then you get into... That was the top 10.
See, okay, wait. Of the top 10, since you tried a significant amount of those, if you were in charge of saying what the whiskey of the year was out of those top 10, which one would you choose?
Well, it would be for me, it's hard to say. I mean, I had some Redbreast, which was delicious, but made me, Irish whiskey kills me, so I have to kind of stay away from it. But I did like the Blue Note, Blue Note, which one? I know what it is, why am I running into what it's called? The Juke Joint. The Blue Note Juke Joint. Juke Joint. It was called the Juke Joint. It's the Tornado batch. And that Tornado made some really good Blue Note whiskey. So then 11 was Sweeten's Cove, which is Peyton Manning's Tennessee toasted sugar maplewood finish. Delicious. We had that actually. We did that in one of the Tiny and Whiskey's 10-minute tastings. I loved it. So I agree. The Toomey Tunnel Cigar Malt Oloroso Sherry Cask Finish, which is a Scotch single malt. So yes, that's for Scotch. We don't do a huge amount. But then there's the Japanese peated, which was my Geico.
My Geico.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's 33%.
then
proof.
Black and Rye, the light double cask Madeira and rum finished, which is I know a couple things about that, so I was excited that Black and Rye did that. Then we have the Bardstown Bourbon Company collaborative series, the Plantation Rum Barrel Finish. That is a bottle that I'm looking forward to trying to get. I've had a shot at it. I think it'll be the first bourbon I buy in 2023. Bushmills 12-year-old, you can't even go wrong. Bushmills is, as Irish, is a delicious whiskey. And then we're talking about another Indri Trini, the 3-wood, which is an Indian single malt. But then 18 was the one I was most intrigued about, which was Hardin's Creek. And at first I thought, because our whiskey of the year for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys was Hardin's Creek, but it was the Jacob's Well, the $150 bottle. I loved it. It went up. It won. But this Hardin's Creek at 18 in the world for Whiskey Advocate, the 18th whiskey is the James Beam 2-year-old, which basically puts out, what would you say? I mean, it's a 2-year-old whiskey, and it made 18th in the world, which really blows my mind. You got to give a shout out to Fred and Freddie No. This is their release off their craft distillery. These are their special releases.
They finally made it.
And they're doing such a good job there at Jim Beam, and this is something that was a big surprise for me. And then there's Teeling Wonders of Wood Virgin Shinnecopan Oak.
Christ, it's like from Alice
I
in
know,
Wonderland.
that's a single pot still Irish whiskey.
Fancy
Teeling makes damn good Irish whiskey. Then there's Craig Lockey, a 13-year-old Bass Armagnac
Finished.
Yeah, Armagnac finished, which is another Scotch for number 20. So there's the top 20 whiskeys. I always completely butcher the Scotches, but everybody knows that I suck at names and doing stuff like that.
I
So
can't pronounce Scottish.
yeah. Anyways, all right. So that brings us to Whiskey Thief, and Whiskey Thief Distillery, formerly Three Boys Farm Distillery, is now Whiskey Thief Distillery on the Three Boys Farm.
When did they change that?
They changed it last September on our podcast.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they announced it on our podcast. We came in, we had to wait a little bit, but a week, but it was the third week of September. They made that announcement right around. It did it again.
Don't worry, I can see that our sound is still fine.
Our sound is fine.
Wait, mine might not be.
No, yours is. I hear you.
I think it's coming through your mic.
No,
Can you hear my tapping?
Yeah. Stop.
Okay.
See, you went down. Yours picks up more, anyways. Shh. See, it's going. Boo. Hello.
This is
So you could
Jacob ASMR.
Right? You could see that the orange goes cloudy. See?
What does that mean?
That means your
Okay,
mic's
yeah,
working.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
So I didn't knock it off. Oh,
Wow, that happened again. Now we
hold
have to
the
do-
thief.
Now we have to do this entire ordeal to make sure my mic is working all over again.
No, your mic. It wouldn't be your mic. It's my mic that would fall off, and I should
wait.
get. Let's put the hammer down on this. There we go.
Wait, I think mine is off now.
Stop, just stop talking. No, it's not.
God damn it. Okay. Well.
Try and make it off. Okay, I got the thief. All right. Anyways, we're back on to Whiskey Thief. Did we get?
After a brief intermission.
do we got any? Oh, Bryce is watching. All right. So anyways, Bryce is Rowan is a very good podcast friend, has been with us from the start. So good to see you, Bryce. I hope he went through some physical things that he had to go through, but it seems like he's back. I'm hoping that things are going good for him. All right, so that brings us to Whiskey Thief. Hunter Coffee, the master distiller. Walter Zausch is the owner, and then Hannah Mullally, she basically has made the Scotchy Bourbon Boys famous. Basically, her reels. We went down there right around. We went down there actually in March, and we're able to do. We recorded ourselves, myself and Roxy, thiefing, and we had our first ever I believe it was, right now it's sitting at 7.4 million downloads. There was never I never even came close. So when we went back and we recorded Hannah serving us the whiskey, that's a 32.5 million download right there. Hannah is known. She, if you can follow her on Instagram, because she is a very interesting girl. She does a lot of really cool things.
What is interesting, man? That sounds like a
she's in the process of training as a female bodybuilder.
Okay, well that is interesting. Okay,
right. So, and she basically she posts the health, how healthy she is and her workouts and everything, and she's just a great person. We love to go down and see her, and then we went and saw her again right after the Scotchy Bourbon Boys meeting. Went down to Kentucky and stopped by and said hi to Hannah. But once again, thank you very much to the Whiskey Thief Distillery for helping us, and the Scotchy Bourbon Boys supporting us when we went, and we do the same thing. But Whiskey Thief Distillery is named after this. This is a whiskey thief. It's a copper whiskey thief. This is made by Vendome.
I feel like you're going to attack me with it.
Yes.
It's like a sword. Like it has a hilt. There's no way that's just not a sword.
So what you do, it's a tube, and you put it in, and it works like a straw. There's a hole at the top.
Your enemy's blood.
And basically when you drop it in, it allows you to pull out the tube's worth of whiskey and serve it up as samples.
Yeah.
So it's
you
called
hold that to keep the air in, so when you pull it up.
Yeah, it's like a straw. Exactly what the straw does.
Yeah.
So the reason why it's called a whiskey thief, why you're actually stealing the whiskey, is because you're stealing from the government. The government allows the whiskey barrels to be tasted for when they're ready. That is not actually taxed.
So you're sticking it to the man when you steal
Right. So it's when you're using a whiskey thief and you're tasting, it is not taxed liquor. It is allotted to be able, there's a certain percentage that they can do. Now, once you thief it and put it into a bottle and they put the label on, then your bottle is taxed and everything, how it works. But at Whiskey Thief Distillery, you get a tour and you get to sample. They've got 5 barrels out there. Some days 6. Some days they got a rye out there. Some days they got 5 bourbons. Some days they got 5 bourbons and a rye. They have all the mash bills on a chalkboard. All the proofs on the chalkboard of what each one is. They kind of go through everything, what it is. So then they give you the tour. Sometimes when you're down there, Walter and Hunter are on premise a lot. You get to meet them. If not, you go through. They show you the pot still. This is pot stilled. And then they show you, they take you into the area where they've got 5 barrels, 6 barrels lined up. Each one has a thief in it. Hannah will then thief the barrel, if you want to pour me one too, because we'll get ready. And she will fill your glass to taste. Yeah, that's fine. To taste each barrel. So there's 5 barrels. You get 5 samples. She goes through. She thiefs it. She brings the thief over, pours it in your glass, and with a smile serves you up barrel strength whiskey. Now, this is something we wanted to talk about. It's like barrel strength. What is barrel strength? How did barrel strength all of a sudden become something? Cask strength, foolproof, all these high proofs, everything. Why did this become a thing? Well, the first distillers that were thinking of it, you're talking about Elmer T. Lee, you're talking about Booker No, you're talking about Jimmy Russell. These are master distillers that started in the 50s and 60s and were going through, and they were always about consistency and proofing and trying to get the product consistent. Well, when they taste the barrel and they're gonna find when it's ready to be blended, when a barrel's ready to be marketed, they're tasting barrel strength. So it was a talent on their part to taste a barrel that was delicious and then know that that would work for 600 barrels to make Jim Beam or 600 barrels to make Wild Turkey. They would know which ones would go, but they would come across single barrel type stuff, which was really sweet. And they called them honey barrels. Or the shiny barrels, because a lot of times when they're aging for 6-7 years, all the barrels get dusty. But the shiny barrel was the one that all the people were with the big bellies were dropping their thief in and tasting consistently. And that was a shiny barrel.
Oh, that sounds terrifying, but okay.
Yeah. So anyways,
not very sanitary.
But they wanted everybody to be able to taste what they were tasting, because they would taste it and then proof it down. But they thought if they did this, Booker's or whatever, that the public would take a sip and then they would add water to it to proof it to what they wanted to drink it at. So what they were saying is,
that's such an insane concept to me.
Don't let us proof it for you. We'll give it to you at barrel strength and you proof it, which means one, they could charge more for the bottle because you're going to get more. It is more for the bottle because you need more whiskey, because when you add water and proof it down, you end up with, more whiskey, whereas with barrel proof, it's less whiskey. It doesn't yield as much, so it's going to be more expensive.
That is so interesting. I honestly think that's like a cultural thing we should bring back, because nowadays it's like, oh, well, this is like Everclear. It's, it's like a billion proof, and I'm just going to drink it like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
I guess you got mixers and stuff, but
So this one here, I believe, I don't know if I got the proof on that one. It was barrel 7. I don't believe it was.
It's got to at least be 100 proof, maybe 90.
I want to say they're saying it's 112 proof.
Oh, wow.
They wrote it on there. But so we're drinking this one. This one was one that they had in a barrel, and it made their gift shop. So we were able to walk out with this. We tasted this on the thing, but their notes, Hunter distills on a pot. So he's doing the same thing Alan Bishop's doing. He's getting out the certain amount of, he gets out a certain amount of this and that in his distilling process. So he doesn't need to use the barrel as much as a filter, as more as a taste thing. So this is, I believe, a 7-year.
For me, I can really taste I can taste the wood in that, honestly, if he's using it for a taste thing. It's like beer.
Well,
I love it.
So pot stilled bourbon, 7 years is getting up some, and there's that definite grain taste on it. And so I really like it. It's caramely, it's grain. There's a grain. The grain isn't as much on like some of the Wild Turkey rare breed. Yeah. They're more caramel. There's not as much grain. And that's because when they're using that barrel to filter out a lot of the whiskey, and when they do that, when they're filtering the whiskey to pull out some of the undesirable, that's in there, they strip the grain flavor out. And what they're left with is a lot of caramel and whatever, but they don't have the grain. Spirit of French Lick's actual motto is respect the grain.
Respect the grain.
Yeah, so
like Capri Sun, respect the pouch.
Yeah. So on this one now, We drank that in a Whiskey Thief little tasting glass.
That's a disrespect.
At the website, Scotchy Bourbon Boys t-shirts. Scotchy Bourbon Boy Glenclair's.
I would wear a Scotchy Bourbon Boys t-shirt if you gave one to me.
I don't think I got an extra small.
I am not extra. You fucking piece of shit.
Hey, I'm here to cut on you too.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was a touche.
I'm still going to say piss off though.
No, I have. I have Scotchy Bourbon Boys t-shirts. Yes, we have them.
I'll wear one, hands down.
So this is one.
I wear them on town too. Be awesome.
This now is 78 10 12. It is 6 year, and it's 116 proof. So, this one we're gonna barrel bash.
Oh wait, let me.
The barrel bashing. Your other glass.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
So I just downed that one for nothing.
Well, I don't know if that was for nothing, but this is 116 proof. Our barrel bashing point scoring is 18. It's 4 categories. It is nose, body, taste, and finish.
You go first with each one, so I remember what they actually are. I always forget.
Nose, body, taste, and finish. The nose, if it's worth, you could give up to 4 points for the nose.
Yeah.
The taste and the finish, you can give up to 5 points.
Yep.
And the body, 4. And we adjusted accordingly because if whiskey smells like shit and it tastes delicious, who the fuck cares what it smelled like, right?
Yeah.
But
Hands down.
it's always a benefit if they both smell the same. And then also, there's a total of 19 because if something's exceptional, you can add a but-up.
Yeah.
One category, if you use it for that's what you do. We are tasting in our Scotchy Bourbon Boy Glencairns. If you roll it around, you can see 116 proof sticks to the side.
Insane.
The viscosity doesn't even the legs don't even start.
Yeah,
and then once they start,
yeah.
they start like little stitches, and then they start dropping down. Do you see that? Little stitches
Yeah,
at the
I'm
top,
seeing
and then they stop.
I'm like looking at it.
And then the
like,
legs
those
start
ones
off a
aren't
little
moving.
thin and get thick like little baseball bats. It's just
that's
the most bizarre.
insane.
Look at how it just sticks to the side right
Yeah.
up there.
No, I'm literally looking at it, and I'm like, I just still see that little line where it actually was.
So this was a pick that I actually did. So this is a barrel that we picked through 5. This is the barrel that we liked. I'm excited to try and taste this. So let's see what happens with this. Ooh, the nose. I get like a toasted wheat. A little bit of rye spice.
Oh, I feel that.
Like a cinnamon. I get cinnamon.
I love that. I do.
Like a cinnamon bun.
I think this.
It actually
an
smells
impressive
like
smell,
a
honestly.
cinnabon at the top. It actually, I'm actually getting that. I'm getting like if
A
you
little. Yeah. I see what you mean. I don't
maybe
know if
not a
I love
cinnabon because you smell that in the mall. It's not quite that good, but it
I can
smells like
imagine
a
it being
top. Like if you went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
bought the bakery cinnamon buns that are in the box that they baked, but they're cold. And then you
Yes,
open that
that's
up.
Perfect.
That's what it
perfect
smells
analogy.
like. It
Yeah.
smells like because
It's like
it doesn't
like-
smell like a hot buttered cinnamon bun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that's
it's
that.
here. Like it's going to be great, but it's been sitting there a little while.
Yeah,
It's waiting for purchase.
but there's almost like you could smell the frosting. Like there's almost a thick viscosity of smelling that icing.
For me, it's overwhelmingly cinnamon. But when I tasted it, like I got that sweetness.
All right, give a little taste.
Because that's where I taste the frosting. Right
Vanilla.
there. Yeah,
It picks.
It's
Look
hard
at that.
vanilla.
Look what that's doing there as far as the legs now. Look at that in the glass right there.
It's insane. Like I have never seen this.
Now this is 116
this.
proof, and this drinks way less hot than the
yeah.
111 proof we were
Hands
drinking right
down.
there.
This is like I wasn't even thinking about how hot it could be when I'm drinking it.
I'm liking that. So, one of the cool things is, at Whiskey Thief Distillery, is you're doing a barrel pick. For $25, you're going on a barrel pick. Right. You get a tour of the place, and then you get to choose from a bottle, if you want to buy it, from one of 5 barrels. You're picking. So if you don't like the barrels that day, you don't have to buy the bottle. You spend $25. You had a couple samples of some good whiskey, but if you don't think it's what you don't want to spend the money on that, you don't have to. But they're always changing out the bottles. Every time you go there, you get to pick. And I'm just telling you, Hannah does a really good job of making you want to buy a bottle.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, she does some good.
The way?
No, I'm just talking about she presents it. The whole experience is fun. You basically are like she puts you in the mood to buy a bottle.
In the mood, you're saying.
It's like we're human beings. We're just like yeast. Some days are better than others, right?
Fair enough. Yep.
No, it's like we've this bottle here. Me and my wife and Roxy.
Time to bring your wife, right?
No, we did. Me and Roxy did that. Roxy knows Hannah, so I haven't been there without Roxy.
Well, probably for the best.
Well, no, there's no way. I wouldn't even.
She's out of your league.
Oh yeah, and and I'm an old man, and
fair enough.
So, anyways, so that's pretty good. Now, I want to do an experiment.
Oh,
here we go. We're talking about 116. Let's
actually
take this down to 100. Everybody talks about
it down to 80 right there.
No, that was about 100. Everybody talks about drops. I always just do a little. I get enough whiskey in there and do a little bit, see what happens. Now, what this is supposed to do is open it up. Now, I used our old limestone mixing water, which is basically sold limestone filtered. It's limestone mixing water from Kentucky, sold completely for watering down your your barrel strengths. That's what they do it for. So what do you think now?
I love how obvious the viscosity has gone down, first of all.
But
it's
the caramel just went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's not vanilla anymore, it's caramel.
Let me tell you.
Still a good amount of bread though.
Honestly, I think the bread is what really popped out after that.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of a fan of. I think I do like it at a lower proof. Honestly.
Can I ask you a question?
The sweetness went away pretty.
You saw. So in other words, you're gonna tell me that I pour you a glass, and that little bit of water I did is gonna affect.
God, yeah.
It's gonna affect it, but it's not gonna affect your ability to get drunk. It's not like we
proved. It's the same amount, right?
Yeah, it's the same exact amount, which what is. If we would finish that, do another one and whatever, we're still drinking it, but we're just drinking it. Our livers are thanking us.
They're like, oh my God, some water, thank God.
Yeah, so anyways, all right.
No, that's fascinating, though, because, honestly, I never anticipated it would affect the taste this much. Because, I was sitting here being like, man, I think we'll rate the taste, low. And then, you add some water, and I'm like, damn, I like this a lot now.
So how do you want to barrel bash it?
How do you mean?
Do you want to barrel bash it with the water, the way you like it, or without?
I'm going with the water. I like with the water. Well,
Okay.
Then again, actually, we should do it without the water, because...
Well, you better drink that up.
Nah, fair enough. Just because that's what people are going to be buying, right?
Well, we're telling them that they can water it down, so that's... But honestly, the master distillers produce this so you can drink it how you want to drink it. Right. If you want to drink it with a little bit of water added to it, rock on.
Yeah, feel free.
There's nothing wrong with it. Now, some people are like, you're adding water to barrel strength. You're wrecking that, Okay, no. So that just because your taste buds are completely dead, and you have to, the only way to wake them up is to drink 116 proof. That's one thing. But at the other, you just drink it the way you like it.
I was going to say, it's so funny when people have that kind of gatekeepy attitude towards it, where it's like, oh, if you're not drinking it at pure barrel strength, then you're a degenerate, like you're ruining it, etc., etc. No, it's your taste. What do you prefer? That's what's important.
Completely agree. All right, here we go. I'm nosing this. Let's barrel bash without me trashing the podcast.
Let's hope so, at least.
Oh, look at it. It's trying to leak. All right. So, the nose, a possibility of 4. I am going to give this nose a 3. Oh, wait.
So
we'll actually bash a barrel.
Would you say that 2 is an average or 3 is an average when it comes to 4?
2 is an average because that's 50%.
I'll give it a 2 then. I'll give it a 2.
For a nose?
Yeah. Because it's a good nose, but it's nothing special compared to what I usually drink here.
An 8 or a 9 out of 18 or is an average bourbon.
Sure.
It's not a bad bourbon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's just cover the next 4. The viscosity, the body. I think the body.
Out of 4?
No, this is out of 5 because no, you're right. The body is out of 4.
Okay.
Because taste and finish are out of 4. For me, the body has nothing to do with the taste. It has to do with how much it actually fills your mouth with the. It could fill your mouth. We've talked about this many times on the podcast. It could fill your mouth with shit, but if your mouth is fully filled with shit, it's a good body.
Yeah.
I'm not. Some people don't go by that, but this is. When I drink this,
4. This is probably the most.
You don't have to do a chew.
I've had in my life.
You don't have to do a chew. It just goes to your cheeks. It goes all over top of your mouth, roof of your tongue. Top of your tongue, all through your tongue, below your tongue. It just fills it with sweetness, like a honey. I think it's like a honey bun. It's honey.
I see what you mean, but the viscosity is like honey. Jesus Christ, but. Oh man, it's literally my entire mouth.
So you're gonna go with a 4 on
hands down, yeah.
Wait.
I think that is the best body I have had in a whiskey on this podcast, to this.
I'm gonna bash the barrel 4 times too. So now we go to taste. The taste to me, I like it. The right balance of stuff, but
I have a controversial opinion, but go on.
You could give the taste 5. I am thinking it's above average. I like it. I'm going to go with 3.
Honestly, I think the taste is the weakest part of this whiskey.
Okay.
The initial taste, at least. I wouldn't don't. It tastes
the initial taste is the taste because the finish is the end.
Exactly. I like the finish. The initial taste is. I don't want to compare it to. My gut was to say cough syrup, but it's not that bad at all. It's just that there is this sweetness and almost a cherry flavor to it that is very off-putting to me.
Look, you got to go with what you taste. This is how it is. It's like just because you don't like something, other people could like it. Some people love fucking cherry cough syrup.
Yeah, it's true. We were just saying it earlier with watering it down. But yeah, I would give the taste.
Alan Bishop talks about not liking rye, and certain ryes just make him think of cough syrup, and he can't. Yep. Some just they turn his stomach, but some people love cherry cough syrup.
I'll give the taste a 1 though. I think the taste is gonna be a 1.
All right.
I would not to say that it's bad, just to say that it is below average for what I'm used to on this podcast.
Okay. So that brings you to a finish. Since you gave it a 1, let's see what you think about how long it lasts. I think this starts out. There's a lot of wheat,
Oh, yeah.
Starts out sweet. Back of your mouth, it goes. I think what you're not liking is there's a certain amount of oak, which is oak tannins, which are a little bitter.
I'm not sure what it is, but it fades the longer the finish lasts.
But once the finish goes, you pick back up almost like graham cracker.
Oh yeah.
And then that stays, but it just goes. Like, it's still there.
Like
My
I
tongue,
feel like
I'm still tasting. I mean, you just keep tasting and tasting. It's like a huge long finish.
Yeah. I feel like if I don't have water, this will probably last for like 10 minutes.
I will give the finish a 4.
Yeah.
A 5.
I was debating giving it a 5. I'm not sure if I'm
Give it whatever you want.
I'm so on the fence about it because you know what? I'll go give it a 5 because I've been comparing the other things to whiskey on this channel. This has outdone it, hands down.
All right, so you did a 501. Your first one was a 2.
Yeah.
So that's 8.
What was the second one?
The second one you gave of the 4, you gave a 3, right?
What was the was it?
No, you gave it a 4. So you gave it a total
Bonnie gave
of
a 4.
12 out of 18.
Okay.
And I gave it a 3. So I gave it a 4, a 4. A 3 and a 4 is 7, and I gave it you gave it a 12, and I gave it a 13. 2 3s,
That feels right.
a 4, 3 threes, and a 4. 9, 13. I gave it a 13 and you gave it a 12.
Yep.
So a delicious. I mean, it's a great experience. Once again, now just so you know. There was one barrel there you might have liked.
Oh.
So you got to understand, you had 5 to choose from.
It's like, well,
so what I like, it's what you like. So we all know that. So what one person likes isn't something that other people like. Don't criticize what other people like because I know I love lobster and there's people who can't stand lobster. Well, you're not as just so you know, you're not as cool as the kid if you don't like what he likes.
True.
That's what you got to go for. It's called coolness.
Yeah. If you guys want to be accepted by people, like go my route.
So, anyways, all right. So I know I'm ready to go on this part. Wait, did I just note messages? Not messages, mail. There we go. I'm ready. Turn up the volume. Last time. Why do I have to turn it up? All right, there we go. I got it ready to go. It's queued up.
Oh, I had my
so, do you have anything? I mean, we covered everything we talked about, right? I mean, if you guys get a chance, they're right near Buffalo Trace. They're 15 minutes away. This is Three Boys Farm, Whiskey Thief Distillery. Stop by, say hi to Hannah, Hunter, and Walter. They do a fantastic job. Hunter has been there since the start, and it's been 2023 is 12 years, and so what they've been doing now, they're Whiskey Thief. It makes total sense because you get to go there and thief from barrels, and if you pick a bottle, you get to fill that bottle from that barrel with last time I was able to use my Whiskey Thief. Plus, if you check out one of our reels, Hannah actually thiefs the barrel with my thief and find out what happens through the rest of that one. And anyways, so remember, do you have anything to add there?
The only thing I will say is that I like basing it off of how we experience whiskey and how when Jen is here, how we all experience whiskey. There's no way that we can convey completely what this whiskey is like. You know what I mean? And I encourage everybody to try the ones that we say are good.
Well, I mean, honestly, we're very positive. If I find a whiskey I don't like, I'm probably not going to bring it on the podcast. I really don't. Yeah. The whiskey industry, the people that are making this is their hard-earned the time that they put in and everything it takes, the hoops you have to jump through to go through the government, distribute everything. You have to be a hardworking person. Now, if you're not producing something that I don't think is the right level, I'm not going to bring you on here and just rip the crap out of you. I'll just leave you alone. Yeah, you would, but at least I'm not bringing them on for it. So,
okay, we should have like one episode.
So, are you gonna? Then it's your challenge to go out and try all the whiskeys and find one you don't like.
Oh my god, great!
That's a challenge.
It is. I'm gonna make it happen. I want to make an episode like that. The kids diss. That'd be a great title.
Consolation prize.
Oh, that's actually that's a good one, actually. It's like you made it on this podcast. Like, good for you. I'm going to tear into you, but like, good for you, man.
But for me, I love bourbon. Even the bourbons that aren't good, I still, if I'm fucking, it's 1:00 in the morning and I'm thinking I want some bourbon and that's all that's there, I'm fucking drinking bad bourbon or bourbons I'm not actually completely excited about. It still tastes good to me. So that's part of it. One of the cool things, my palate, after it was destroyed by...
Gin.
No, it was destroyed by COVID. I mean, I lost complete taste and smell. Now, anytime I'm exposed to COVID, I could just sense my palate resetting. I don't get sick. I don't lose my taste and smell, but I definitely get a palate reset. And I've had to work hard to nose whiskey and keep whiskey tasting because there's a lot of stuff that used to smell one way and it doesn't smell that way anymore. I can smell it, but I don't recognize it as what it was. So that's a cool thing. But as far as whiskey, I think it was a beneficial reset. Anyways, Whiskey Thief Distillery, check it out. You got to go down there. They're down in Kentucky. Check out their... If you're in and you're down there and you've set it up off this podcast, make sure that if you see Hannah, let her know that the Scotchy Bourbon Boys sent you, and that's where you found out about it. Same thing with Walter and Hunter. Super people right there. Great to support. And until next time... we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.scotchybourbonboys.com.
And the Cock Flock.
The cock, or 2/3 of the cock flock. And we will be doing a chicken cock, a chicken cock brand podcast coming up, and hopefully we can get Greg to come on and meet the kid and Jen and go forward with that. That'll be coming up in the future. But www.scotchybourbonboys.com for everything Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Scotchy Bourbon Boys t-shirts, Glencairns, and bourbon balls right there on the podcast. Check us out. Make sure, remember, we're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, along with all the major podcast formats. Ask Siri, ask Alexa to play us. She will play the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then also remember, listen, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you, when you comment, leave some good feedback. It helps with our searchability.
Again, no constructive criticism. We only want good feedback. Don't insult us.
If you want to insult us, do it on Facebook. And anyways, also remember, good bourbon equals good times and good friends, and go out and live your life dangerously. Good night, everybody.
And go Tigers.
Little Steve-O.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you, we must die.
I think that's a really good one.
We're still live.
Oh, fuck. Never mind. I go back in the other room soon. My girlfriend's waiting.
Okay. Let me, Audio Magic start saving.
Thank you, everybody, for paying attention to me. I love it.
Thanks to the kid for coming on. I think it's fitting. Look forward to a lot more podcasts with the kid. Hopefully Jen will be on, but also putting the kid and Super Nash on at once. And then also, if we could get them live in the future, will be the really cool things when we go do the events, because I'm planning on dragging the kid along. I don't think I'll be able to do Jen because he's going to be off in a different state. But
I'll grab him real quick. I'll drive him back.
All right, so let me just get this saving, and then we'll start shutting down. All right, here it is, file. Because it's always good to publish, uploading. Gonna call it Angels Share.
My files on my computer are so fucking buck wild.
My scratch discs went nuts this freaking... all right, everybody on YouTube, remember, good bourbon equals good times. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, go out and live your life dangerously. All right.